How to build an apple house. Yes, that's right, an apple. A house that is fully furnished, equipped with all of the essentials. A house that was designed without shaders. A house that can be replicated in order to make an original village. But above all, a house that will make people look and wonder, why the are you living in an apple? Okay, so before we start, here are the materials that you'll need. Now, I would just like to point out that if you want to add some texture to the house, you'll need these extra blocks, 38 red wool and 14 concrete powder. And when you're done collecting all of the blocks that you need, it's time to start building. So, first we need to place 2 rows of 4 blocks of red concrete, one on top of the other. Once that is done, extend the wall by 1 block on each side like so. Proceed by placing another block on top, and right next to it place a random block. Start a second row of 4 blocks on the side of the temporary block. Next, make the corner block 1 block higher and break the temporary block. Now, on top of this new row we just built, place 6 blocks of red concrete. And finally, to finish, we only need to raise this wall by 3 blocks. And there we go, we are officially done with our first wall. Now, let's switch to first person, so you can get a different angle on how to build these walls. Okay, and we finished this one as well, so let's get down and start on the third wall. The process is exactly the same, but because we already made the other 2 walls, it might look slightly different, since we already placed the 2 blocks on each corner of the wall. Don't forget to break the temporary block, and now we're ready to finish this wall. Okay, 3 done and 1 to go. The final wall is the exact same as the other 3 walls, so, I believe in you, you can figure this out. Next step is the ceiling. You can use any type of wood, but mangrove or spruce are the ones that look the best here, in my opinion. Which is the right opinion. Anyway, now that we have this beautiful red thing, we need an entrance. So the first thing to do is to choose one of the 4 sides of the apple and start making a small hill like so. Once that is done and you're happy with how the hill looks, just put some slabs up the hill so it's easier to enter the house. And when that is done, you need to make a 2x2 hole and place the doors. Okay, so we officially have an entrance, and now I'm going to switch into creative mode so it's easier for you to see how to texture the house. So the first thing that you'll need to do is to choose one of the corners. Now, if you can't choose which corner, pretend that something is happening to your family. And the only way to survive is if you choose one of the corners. And once that is done, all you have to do is very simple. So first, you break these 6 blocks on the left of your corner. Next, you're going to break that one, that one, that one, and that one. Perfect. Okay, so next you grab your red wool and you place 4 blocks here, another one there. You skip this one and you fill the 2 left with red wool. Now, grab the red concrete powder and place it on the 3 remaining spots. And that is done, so let's switch to the other side of the corner. You start by making a 4x3 rectangle, and then you break these 3 blocks. You grab the red wool and you place it like so. And the rest you just fill it with red concrete powder. See, that was so easy, so easy. Okay, now if you want, you can texture a little bit of the other 2 walls, but it's not necessary. But I'm going to just essentially break a couple of blocks and place some wool there. But again, it is not necessary. And that was the last block. Okay, once that is done, the only thing left to do is the top of the apple. Now, I'm going to show you which block to place where, but you can improvise as well. If you do improvise, there's only one thing that you have to have in mind when placing these blocks. You'll want to place a lot more red concrete powder around the corner that you chose before. Okay, so now that that is done, there's only one thing left to do. Every apple needs a stem and a leaf. For the stem, you'll only need to use 2 oak blocks, 1 spruce fence, and 2 more oak blocks. You see? That's pretty easy. Anyway, regarding the leaf, you can make it by only using oak and birch leaves, but I also added some green wool and concrete powder to give it a bit more texture. But if you do not have access to these blocks, that's fine. Only using leaves will do the job as well. So, now that we finished with the top of the apple, let's switch into first person and add a few more details to the entrance of the house. Here, you could also use cobblestone walls if you want to, and instead of using campfires, you could also use spruce slabs. And the lantern. Okay, so by now this is how your house should be looking. And next, what we're going to do is to get inside the apple and cover up this hole by making a floor, either with mangrove or spruce planks. Do not forget to add a light source. And before we start decorating the interior, there is only one thing left to do. Add windows. So, choose 2 walls to make windows. Each wall is going to have 2 windows, and each window is going to be 3 blocks high. Do not worry if any of the red concrete falls down, we'll just break it and replace it after. For the windows, I'll be using white stained glass panes, but you can use any other type of glass if you want to. And once you're finished with that, just add a few small details to the windows, like a gate with a slab on top. It kind of looks like it has eyes and eyelashes. Anyway, let's move on. Choose a second weld and build the windows all over again. Okay, so we are now finally done with the exterior of the house, so let's switch into first person and tackle the interior of the apple. Okay, so... okay. Can you... Anyway, no one saw anything. Okay, so for the first section of the house, these are the materials that you'll need. And I just want to explain the process behind this interior. So, whenever I build small houses, there are 2 main areas that I always like to have. The first one being a crafting area, where I have workbenches, furnaces, and all of those blocks that allows you to make blocks from other blocks, if that makes sense. Here I also like to have storage for building blocks, food, and ores, just because I find it really annoying to have to go to another room in order to store all of the food and ores that I just melted in the furnaces. So yeah, that's the main reason why I always like to have storage near the crafting area. I also like to decorate this area with some carpet and flower pots, but if you do not have that, it's fine, you don't need it. And of course, I always label my storage. So yeah, I'm super organized, and I'm definitely not one of those people that has to go through all of my stuff to find something specific. So yeah, I'm glad we established that, so let's move on, shall we? Okay, so the second and final area of the house is where I have my bed. I also like to place some random storage for blocks that I know that I'm not going to use a lot. Now, once again, if you have carpet, you should try and use it in order to make the house feel a little bit more cozy. An armor stand where you can place your nether armor, and finally, it might look good to place some leaves around the ceiling. But again, that's completely optional. And we're officially done. So, we've essentially finished the interior of the house, so now let's go outside and add a few final details to the surroundings of our build. Let's start by making a path. Then, what I like to do is to randomly place some leaves around the house because they kind of look like bushes and they add some texture. And finally, add either a farm or an animal enclosure next to the house. These will essentially allow you to get a constant supply of other blocks or resources. And for obvious reasons, I advise you to get sheep. Blessed be the sheep. Anyway, now you officially have your house completely done. So before I end the video, I'm just going to show you the house from different angles. And of course, as usual, I'm going to show you the house without shaders. Okay, so I'm going to leave the link for the world download in the description of the video, and also the link for my Let's Play series where I actually built this house. Besides that, I just want to say that I hope you have a good day. I hope the house looks good in your world, and click this video. Click here. Okay? Okay.